Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen, the channel that brings you your team every single day, a channel that brings you all the latest news from Rangers. And if you want to make sure that you always get access to that free content, guys, we don't charge you for any of the content here on the channel. Hit the sub, ring the notification bell, and come and join Glasgow Rangers Nation. Well, we've got a fair few stories to talk over today. We've got a little bit of reflection on yesterday's game, obviously. Also news about Kei Kamara. Now looking more official, thanks to that Italian transfer guru himself, Mr. Fabrizio Romano. Surprise news about Janis Hagi's next destination. Also news of transfer links. Michael Beal saying that there was some truth in some of the names mentioned, but I don't think for a minute it's Eden Hazard. Also Michael Beal's comments post the game yesterday. Well, where to start? Let's start with the first news. We'll get to the game towards the end of the video. Janis Hagi. Now, Janis, obviously, since he's come back from that devastating ACL injury, has missed a number, obviously, of games and wants first-team football. Janis, I think, is concerned about his place in the Romanian national team. And he's a player that isn't content to just sit there and pick up his wages, is he? He's not. That's not the sort of player that Janis is. He very much is want to get out there, I want to play kind of guy. And you've got to admire him for that. There are those players, unfortunately, in this world who are quite happy to sit on the bench and just pick up a wage. And no matter how high that wage is, they're quite happy to just sit there, which I think is pretty disgusting, in my opinion. But Janis is certainly someone who wants to play. He wants a game. Now, he came on against Greenock Morton. I know it's only Greenock Morton, but he did very well in that game indeed. Hagi is a creative player, got a good eye for a pass. He is an all-round, very, very talented young man. Now, I know the criticism of Janis is that he's very slow and that once he beats a man, he can't get away from him. And many people feel that, maybe one of the foreign leagues, maybe somewhere like La Liga or Ligue 1, or even perhaps Serie A would suit him more, where the pace of the game is noticeably less than it is in Scotland and certainly in England as well. Well, news this morning in the media that Janis Hagi could be on his way to Deportivo Alaves in La Liga. Now, Deportivo Alaves have apparently approached Rangers with a view to taking Janis on loan. Now, there is a multiple media sources this morning, not just one, not just some of the awful ones, reporting that Rangers are very interested in allowing Janis to depart on loan to Deportivo Alaves. Now, Alaves, who you may remember once got to a UEFA Cup final and ran Liverpool very, very close indeed. It's also felt that the Spanish game could be a game that really suits Janis' style, and Alaves would certainly give Janis the first-team football he has been craving. Now, an interesting move. Now, many people felt that Janis would be sold and Rangers would be looking to recoup some of the transfer fee that they paid for him and certainly get more money into the club. Fees of between 3.5 and 4.7 million have certainly been mentioned, especially in reference to Trabzonspor from Turkey. However, it now appears that this move is a loan move. And within this loan move, there is no option to buy. It is just a season-long loan. Now, this, of course, begs the question, what is the plan here? Is it there could be two possible plans here, I suppose. Or three even, I guess. Number one, he goes to Alaves. He has a season there on loan. He gets some first-team minutes into his legs. He comes back fitter, better, ready to go. And Rangers then have him back as a fully fit, ready to go player for next season. That could be option one. Option two, he goes to Alaves. He plays well. He impresses. He gets match fit. Another team comes in, puts in a big substantial bid for him next summer. Rangers get more than the 3.5 to 4.7 million, which many people have rumoured that Hagi could be worth up to 7-8 million. Option three, he goes to Alaves. He plays really well. He impresses. And Alaves come in with a big bid for him. It's kind of a win-win-win situation for Rangers, certainly. And I think, as has been demonstrated with the fact they've let Alex Lowry go out on loan, it could be a situation where they're letting other teams get our players back to full match fitness, get our players back to their full sharpness, and then we take them back and make a decision on them next summer. But it is certainly an interesting one and a move that kind of keeps his options open and keeps the Rangers' options open as well. The fact that he isn't departing on a permanent basis, it does mean that if we need to, we can obviously have him back next summer and he can then come back into the Rangers team. Well, it's an interesting one, guys. Let me know what you think. What do you think the the reason for this move is? What do you think? Is this a good move for Rangers, or would you prefer to see him sold at this situation? Or do you think, as I do, and I think this is probably the best way to do it, get a loan out of him, then he impresses, hopefully, and we get more money for him next summer. Like I said, I think Hagi could be worth an awful lot more than the 3 to 4.7 million that's been mentioned. He certainly is a brand Hagi, and that name does seem to obviously garnish an awful lot of cash with it. And if he goes to Alaves and is a success, all the better for Rangers. Now, the Glenn Kamara saga. What is going on with Glenn Kamara? It seems that 1 minute Leeds are hot for Glenn Kamara, the next minute they're not. The next minute they want him, the next minute they don't want him. Then it just seems to be all over the place. Transfer fees down in Yorkshire being talked about 3.5 million. I've got friends who are Leeds fans, that's what they've heard. And Rangers fans hearing 5.5 million. What on earth is going on with the Glenn Kamara situation? Now, Glenn has not been involved at all with the first team this year. Yes, he's trained with them, but no, he has not featured in any of the matchday squads. And as Michael Beal himself has admitted, it's time for Glenn to move on. I think it's best for the club. It's best for Glenn. He certainly has not got back to the highs of that Europa League run and obviously the 55 season when he was certainly one of the most talented players on the squad and was well worth his place. Glenn, there's no doubts that Glenn, on his day, when he is up to full match fitness, when he is fully on his game and when he is fully interested in the game, he is a quality player. I get that. But unfortunately for Rangers, he has not been that for at least 12 to 18 months now. Now, this was tweeted out this morning. Now, we don't take, sometimes Twitter, yes, is full of trolls and it is full of rubbish. And I get my fair share of Twitter criticism. And there's an awful lot of poisonous people on Twitter. There really is. You really do need to get a life. But one of the people who you can kind of rely on for the truth on Twitter is Mr. Fabrizio Romano, the man who sleeps only 4 hours a day, the man who has his mobile phone permanently glued to his ear. Well, Romano tweeted this out this morning, and like I said, once it's with Fabrizio, it's going to be true. Fabrizio does not peddle spurious rumours. He says Leeds United have submitted an official bid for Glenn Kamara, and negotiations now at a final stage with Rangers, the Finnish flag, and hashtag LUFC. Deal expected to be completed next week. Player has already accepted. So it looks like the deal for Glenn Kamara is a done one, and it will be completed next week. And we will finally have Kamara off our books, which I think is good news for the club. Certainly any fee we can get for this guy, even if it's 3.5 million, you've got to consider that the fact that, he cost us £50,000. It is a huge profit no matter what we get in for him. I think the truth is probably somewhere between the two of 3.5 and 5.5. I think that's probably, somewhere in between those figures is going to be the actual amount we get for Glenn Kamara. But hey, good news, and it looks like he has been he will be a quality signing for Leeds, and we will get the money that we need for him. I think it's certainly a good move for the club, and it's, like I said, it's more likely to be true now. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted it out. And, as Michael Beal said, there is a number of, obviously, going to be more outs than ins in this final week of this transfer window. So Kamara could be on his way out. Hagi could be on his way out. Who else? John McLaughlin is still at the club. Scott Wright is still at the club. Is there a possibility that we can still, get some money for those two players and ship them out of the club? The squad is still quite bloated at the moment. We do need to move players on. There is a strong possibility that they could be moved on as well. It looks like no matter what, even if we do go on to acquire more players, that we do, think that, that it will be a transfer window where we break even in terms of funds. And that certainly seems to be the trading model that we are now using. Certainly the days of Rangers being able to go out and splash the cash on whoever they want is gone. Now, one rumour that's been doing its rounds. Now, what happened yesterday was Michael Beal said there are some truth in some of the rumours. Now, I don't think for 1 minute that Eden Hazard will be coming to Rangers anytime soon. A lot of talk down here south of the border is that he is going to Crystal Palace. As the fact that Palace, yes, are a small club. I get that 100%, but they can still pay higher wages than Rangers because of the fact they're a Premier League club and they have that bottomless pit of Premier League cash. I don't think Hazard will come for a couple of reasons. Number one, I genuinely think that, if he's got option to go and play in the Premier League again, where he was a success with Chelsea, he will go there. And second, we cannot match the wages that Premier League clubs are willing to pay, even the Premier League clubs that are mid to lower mid-table teams in England. It's a sad state of affairs, I know, but I really don't think that there is any truth whatsoever in the Eden Hazard rumours. Now, two players who have been rumoured, and I think there could be some truth in one of these two names, is Harry Sutter and Sam Field. Harry Sutter, brother of John, is a central defender and a Rangers fan, and has certainly fallen down the pecking order under new Leicester manager. He is hardly featured at all, despite the fact he joined the club for big money. Sutter is an Australian international, even though he's born in Scotland. His brother is a Scottish international. Comedy. Sutter is good in the air. He's good on the ground. He's actually a better player than his brother. So, he would be a quality acquisition. He can play left side centre back. He's more natural to that side. You could even have face a situation where you have the Sutter brothers as a centre back partnership. I mean, how fantastic would that be? But that would be a loan move, apparently, with a possible option to buy at the end of it. So there could be more truth in that rumour, certainly, than the Eden Hazard rumour. Harry Sutter is certainly someone I would welcome to the club. I do think we need more centre-backs. I think we need some quality centre-backs. I think if you look beyond Goldson, Sutter, and perhaps even Balogun, you've got a lack of quality there. Leon King is still learning the game. Yefeko is not ready really for first-team football. So I think there is a need to bring Ben Davies, obviously, as well, who is just useless. I think there is a need for me to bring in an experienced, talented centre-back, and Harry Sutter, I think, would be a good move, even if it's only on loan. Sam Field is a defensive central midfielder currently with QPR, a player who started his career at West Brom and is about 24, 25 years old, and during his youth days represented England at under 20 level. He is a talented central midfielder, a defensive central midfielder, someone who would provide a backup to Ryan Jack, who is having his games picked and chosen for him. So I think there's probably more likelihood there would be some truth in the rumour that it could be Field or Sutter rather than Eden Hazard. Well, yesterday Rangers came off 2-0 winners in a game against Ross County in the amazingly named Dingwall. Yes, it could have been a lot more. I get that. I think we should have won 3-4-5, even 5-0. Michael Beal, after the game, said the following. He said this: really strong, exactly what we wanted. Our eyes were firmly on this game. The start to that game showed that. Delighted for Kei Kamara, obviously, and James with a special goal gets us in a good place. He went on to say, we did have big chances to extend the lead. I would like for us to have shown a bit more composure at times, but delighted with the clean sheet. I think Michael Beal is spot on with his comments there. Yes, I would have loved us to obviously have scored more goals. And I think that is one of the things that is still a concern for this team, that we are not taking our chances and we are not putting teams to bed properly. There are still a number of chances being generated and we are missing an awful lot of chances. One of the chief culprits yesterday of missing those chances was obviously Cyril Dessers, who I'll get to shortly. I thought Jack Butland had another very solid game at the back. Jack did something yesterday that we have been begging our keepers to do now ever since McGregor stopped doing, which is come for crosses, deal with high balls, sweep up. He just looks solid. He looked reliable. He is a quality goalkeeper, a really top class goalkeeper. He's sort of getting back to the form he was in when he was chosen for England. And you don't get picked as an England goalkeeper if you're average. England have a reputation of having very good keepers. The Shiltons, Woodses, Seamans, for example, those players who are exceptional keepers. Jack Butland is a very talented goalkeeper, and I certainly think that he, is starting to show that at Rangers, and what a quality signing Jack has been for the club. So, I thought he was excellent again yesterday. Got to say, big praise to Tav, who's certainly come in for some criticism in recent weeks. I thought was much better, back on his game, perhaps, just lacking a bit of fitness or carrying something maybe. But yesterday, I thought he defended well, he got forward well, and that goal, what a goal, read the game beautifully, picked up the ball, ran at the opposition defence and scored an absolute worldie. Great play from Tav yesterday. Well done, James Tavernier, yesterday. You were fantastic. Yes, I've criticised your defensive abilities in recent weeks, and rightly so, because some of your defending has not been up to it. But yesterday, you were excellent. You played very well indeed, and I thought Tav was one of the best players on the pitch yesterday. This man yesterday, I was I thought was fantastic. Kei Kamara, he was sharp, he was interested in everything, he was lively, he was getting involved. He scored that goal. He's something that we have not got at this club. We have not got a finisher, a fox in the box finisher, an out and out goal scorer. He is the best striker in this club. He's better than Tavernier. He's better than Dessers. He's certainly better than Lammers. If we can keep this man fit, he will score us 20, 25 goals this season. I guarantee it. He was brilliant yesterday, and it's such a shame that he is not in the European squad for the PSV game coming up this week, because if he was, I would start him ahead of Dessers, Danilo and Lammers. He is a natural finisher, and I thought he was absolutely superb yesterday. Got a good 60 minutes in and did very well indeed. Also yesterday, I thought that Nicholas Raskin was very good again. He kept fighting. He kept being very positive with the ball, taking the ball forward, battling, showed good qualities. And as in the second mention there for Tav, well done, Tav. But yeah, Raskin, I thought, did very well indeed yesterday as well. Also credit to Borna Barisic and John Sutter yesterday. Sutter, I thought, was an absolute rock at the back. Solid, great under the high ball. Marshaled the defense really well. Just absolutely rock solid at the back. Borna Barisic, seems to be having on an arc of redemption, a real revival to his career and doing exceptionally well. I thought Borna again yesterday, great supply, good defending. I thought both the fullbacks did exceptionally well yesterday. Even credit to John Lundstrom, a player I have, criticised to the high heavens yesterday. I thought he did well yesterday, very solid in the first half, not so great in the second, but very good indeed. And it was great to see this man get some game time and get back on the pitch as well. I've got no doubts that Tom will play a role as long as he stays fit for us in the rest of the season. Kei Kamara, I've got to say, has to start against Celtic next Sunday. Got to keep him fit, got to keep him out there. If he does, he's got to be a starter. He's got to play next week. He's a natural goal threat. He will score against them. Really confident in that. Got to say, yesterday, again, really disappointed with this man, Cyril Dessers. 3 good chances, 3 misses. 2 of those headers he's got to score. Now, I get the whole thing about him working hard, him being good in the air, him getting assists. But the guy we paid £3-4 million for this guy to score goals, and he isn't scoring goals. And there's 2 of those goals yesterday that he's got to take. Now, Danilo misses those, he gets slaughtered by the fans. Dessers misses those. And this morning I've made the point on Twitter about him missing those 2 chances, and yet everyone is defending him because of the way he played. At the end of the day, you've got to say that he missed 2 gilt-edged chances. The ball in from Roof that comes over, he's at the back post. If he heads that back across the goal, it's in the back of the net. He snatches at the chance as well from out wide. That kind of hits his head and shoulder and goes over. To me, he's just, I don't know, he is not up to it. He really is poor, and I would not start him against PSV on Wednesday. I think Danilo's got to be given the opportunity to play. Danilo scored goals, played well against PSV more in recent memories. The last time that Dessers scored double figures in a season was 3 seasons ago. It was in the Dutch second division. I'm sorry, but I'd love him to prove me wrong. I hope I eat my words about him, but I just thought he was absolute, again, awful. Just awful in front of goal, taking chances. He just didn't do it again yesterday, and it was not good enough, and it is not acceptable. When you're paying that much money for a centre-forward's job is to score goals. Alfie got slaughtered last season. Cholak got slaughtered at times. Cholak's a better forward than Dessers. I would rather have kept Antonio Cholak. Cholak probably buries all 3 of those headers yesterday, and we come away 5-0 winners. Dessers misses all 3. It's just not good enough. The guy scored 2 goals this season. One that hit him and was lucky. He kind of bumbled into him. I mean, let's face it, anyone could have scored that. And the other one's a penalty. He's still not scored from open play. He's still not scored in the league. It's not good enough at all for me. And I would not play him against PSV. I'd play Danilo. Or, I'd even say if we can swap, I don't think we can, but swap Roof for Dessers for that game. Well, guys, let me know what you think of the topics we've covered in the video today. Thank you so much again for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Please smash that sub, ring that notification bell so you never miss out on any of the great content. And remember, I always need you to do 2 things for me. Number 1 is to smash the like. And number 2, remember always, we are the people.